I'm Nick from Fouch-o-matic Off-Grid, and today we're going to show you our outdoor shower setup. If you voted on our 20,000 subscriber video what you wanted to see next, and you said, "Show me the shower," this is our shower. So our shower is a gravity-fed system. I won't get into all of the details of our spring and where our water comes from. That's a whole nother subject. But if you have water, if you're able to get it uphill from where you want to use it, you can do gravity-fed systems. The pressure on a gravity-fed system does matter when you go to use appliances like one of these. This is the EcoTemp L10 outdoor tankless propane water heater. It's really not too expensive. It's right around 200 bucks. So as far as a appliance goes, it's pretty affordable. This particular one is made for outdoor use, meaning its combustion is not exhausted in a manageable way. You can't vent this. You can't put it inside and vent it, because the exhaust pretty much just escapes out into the atmosphere. And if your atmosphere is enclosed inside, you're going to be exposed to all of that exhaust, which is no good. So it's an outdoor unit only. It's also not intended originally, if you talk to the good folks at the help desk at EcoTemp, which I have, it is not intended to be plumbed to fixtures like faucets and things. But we do it anyway, because that's what we do. So for a lot of our outdoor plumbing stuff, I go ahead and use garden hose for the cold water supply. It's not exactly up to code plumbing, but we're also not getting looked at in any way, except you guys. So this is the cold line coming in. I actually have it teed off to some faucets on the other side, which I'll show you in a minute. So cold water in, and the cold water also branches up and goes to the cold water side of the shower fixture there. Cold water in, hot water out. So when it turns into hot water, I go to PEX pipe. PEX is really easy to manage. It's flexible. You can put it wherever you want it. The fittings are a little spendy, but it sure is easy to use. And then that goes to the hot water side on the shower fixture. The other line coming out of there is the gas line. So this just goes over to a 7-gallon barbecue bottle. The ignition on this particular unit is achieved with 2D batteries. So there's no electrical hookup or any other power source for it. It's just water supply and gas, and then it's able to generate spark from those batteries in order to fire up to heat the water. Now the reason why I said that pressure was important is these units will only fire up once it has a certain amount of pressure. I think it says 45 psi on this one. We're able to get it to go with much less than that. We only have about 20 psi as our water comes running down the hill in that hose. So it's just a matter of experimentation, what you're able to get the machine to do. But it's been able to do the job for us really well with relatively low water pressure. With the garden hose, I just use 5/8 barb fittings. You can get these at Home Depot. Clamp them down real tight with hose clamps. You're just able to cut and smash it together and go. The PEX fittings, the brand name is Sharkbite, but they're just a press to fit connector. So you really, there's a little threaded fitting there because I used a T, and maybe there's a T that actually has the Sharkbite fitting all the way around. But you literally just push that that pipe into the fitting, and it has barbs on the inside that grab it. So when the pressure is pushing it back out, those barbs grab tighter. So to get them out, you have to push the tube back in and hold back this little collar, and then you're able to get it back out. What's the other reason why I like it is it's not permanent at all. You're able to try something, it doesn't work, okay, you can take it apart and try again. Over on the side here I have two spigots, and I was able to find red and and blue handles for hot and cold. Now we don't really use the hot water spigot all that much, but it sure would be nice. Say if someone's camping down here below, they need a little hot water, they can just get right up to it and get some. The other thing that this does for us is it provides a system drain. This being outside and being in Idaho, where we get good and cold during the winter, we have to drain this system almost every time that we use it during the winter. So this is sort of the lowest point in the system. Those hoses back there do have a bit of a dip to them, so water stays in part of that. But if you're doing something outside and gravity fed like this, you want to be able to completely drain the system without it being too much work. So a valve down low in the system is a good thing. Right now we have a hose hooked up to it because we are using a little bit of the spring water to water our trees. The next phase in development that we didn't really get to was to effectively collect the drain water off of this. We'd like to be reclaiming this water and then using that to water our fruit trees, which we'll still do. Right now we have it just dumping onto one fruit tree that was already here, but it's not really an efficient use of it. We could get it to go a lot further. The structure itself I built from lumber reclaimed from somebody's deck that they tore out. So these were all the uprights of the handrail of the deck. This was all framing of the deck, and I ran it all through the planer, stripped off all the old paint and finish and stuff, bagged that dust and pitched it. That didn't get put in with the animals because it had paint on it, and then just one coat of stain, and it looks brand new. So another successful reclaimed project. I just got a used shower pan from the Habitat Restore, and that worked pretty well to just drop it in there. We've gone around and around about shower valves a little bit. I did have some other brass shower valves, and that's a brass single body shower valve. But in the winter we managed to not always drain the system, and the water freezing in those brass valves is able to just break the brass. So we've done that more than once. But that's user error, really. I mean, if you're going to have an outdoor setup in the middle of winter, you have to just get the water out of it. There's no real good way around that I've found. Please inform me otherwise. But it works pretty well. When you turn on the hot water, it heats up pretty quick. It's just the distance between the water heater and the shower head there, but it's already nice and warm. We went without a shower for quite a while, probably our first 4 months or so out here. And our first shower setup really was a pallet with a stick and a shower head just on top of us, you know, kind of out in the open, but it was gravity fed out of a Rubbermaid tub that we would mix the hot water in and then let it run down. So I encourage you to experiment, I guess is my point. Go ahead and just try stuff. That's why we're out here, is to be out here and to find for ourselves what works and what doesn't, and what level of comfort we're able to get along with. So you'd be surprised what little comfort you can get along with. Ready? Mm-hmm. Thanks for watching. I'm Nick from Fouch-o-matic Off Grid. That's our shower.